This last story is called Church Trip Nightmare. The only time where I'm pretty certain that I saw a ghost, something supernatural, was on a church youth group trip I took early in high school. It was an all-girls trip where we stayed at a beach house in Wilmington, North Carolina for the weekend. In the middle of the second night we were there, I woke up to one of the other girls staying in the room screaming in her sleep. I sat up, looked over, and saw a girl standing over her bed and right by her where she was sleeping. At first I thought it was just a girl who stayed in another room at first, but once I looked more closely, it wasn't. I was definitely wide awake and laid back down as I watched her walk around the bed. I noticed that there was what looked like a red and white striped towel on the wall, which was not there when we went to sleep. And the thing that really freaked me out was that the mirror facing the two beds was pitch black. Even in the darkness, you can still see somewhat of a reflection in a mirror, but not this one. It was completely black. No reflection. The girl noticed that I was looking at her. She turned around and made the nastiest, snarliest face at me. I still remember the slits of her eyes giving me that evil glare. My entire body ran cold, and I began to shake as I started screaming, "There's a ghost." This doesn't wake up the girl who was shouting in her sleep, but it does wake up two other girls in the room who say, "Go back to sleep." The ghost girl doesn't disappear. She stands there placidly at the end of the other bed and watches us as one girl tells me to calm down. I started crying and hid her under the covers until I managed to fall asleep. In the morning, I was so relieved to wake up and see the mirror back to normal and no towel hanging on the wall. Of course, I am all, "Ghost, ghost, there's a ghost," in the morning, to which I received roll eyes and chidings of, "Christians don't believe in ghosts, and you shouldn't either." One of the girls who woke up started laughing, saying she thought it was so silly of me. I run through my story: creepy girl, black mirror, red and white towel on the wall. At the mention of the towel, she stops and gives me a funny look. A look that clearly said to me that she did see something when I woke her up. I didn't say anything, but after that, if my ghost was brought up, she quickly changed the conversation. For a change of pace, I'm going to read you a ghostly poem. I think you'll find it interesting. It's called Mad Girl's Love Song by Sylvia Plath. A disturbingly leveling and intimate look at mental illness, hallucinations, and young love from young Plath, with a cameo from Seraphim and Satan's Henchman. Now here's the poem. I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead. I lift my lids and all is born again. I think I made you up inside my head. The stars go waltzing out in blue and red, and arbitrary blackness gallops in. I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead. I dreamed that you bewitched me into bed and sung me moonstruck, kissed me quite insane. I think I made you up inside my head. God topples from the sky, hellfires fade, exit Seraphim and Satan's men. I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead. I fancied you'd return my way, you said, but I grow old and forget your name. I think I made you up inside my head. I should have loved a thunderbird instead. At least when spring comes, they roar back again. I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead. I think I made you up inside my head. This is a true story by Scott Ruiz. She saw a clown. It was 1989, I believe, around 9:30 to 10 p.m., and everyone in the house was already settled in except for my two oldest sisters, 13 and 14. They were getting ready for bed and were at the bathroom, which had a connecting door to the basement near the toilet. My oldest sister was actually using the restroom while the other was brushing her hair. Well, as she was doing that, she heard a strange noise coming from the basement. See, she was the one that actually told me this story. I was too young to remember anything. She asked my older sister if she heard the noise, and she said yes. So then, she walks over to the basement door and opens it slowly.
It's only a dream, 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 it's only a dream.
She peeked her head around the corner to see the most shocking thing that she had ever seen. She told me she saw this person or demon crawling up the stairs like how a baby would, dressed in this clown suit, holding what looked like a knife in his hand. She told me it was like a dwarf because it was smaller than a midget. She gasped and could not move. When she gasped, it looked up at her with this freaky grin, then put the knife in its mouth and started up the stairs more quickly, stumbling and catching its toes on each step because of how short it was. She couldn't move, but was making a hesitant sound that scared my oldest sister, which then grabbed her arm, but could not move either, as if she was transfixed on the demon by force. Just about near the top of the stairs, she then let out a scream. She then told me that the thing stopped, stood up on the steps to laugh at her like a child. Then he fell backwards, falling on the steps with dead weight, looking like a person with no control over their limbs. She was then pulled into the bathroom with the door shutting hard. My dad heard the screams and came to the bathroom. They told him what happened, and when he went downstairs to find what they saw, he couldn't find anything that resembled what they told him. This is another story for people who like to take long trips, especially to the mountains. It's called Be Cautious of Car Crashes. There was a story about how a guy who was driving through the mountains, an ex-army military person, and he came across a crash. The car wasn't damaged at all and almost deliberately placed in the middle of the road. He drove past and saw two people lying in the road. He pulls up in front of the crash and then looks back to see the people sat up and 20 or so eyes reflecting in the taillights from the surrounding bushes. He slams on the gas and goes. This story scares me because this kind of thing does happen with mountain tribes who are either cannibalistic or crazy. Until the next time.